Hey, looks like we're just slightly past the top of the hour, so let's get this call underway. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Go Diamond Focus call for Monday, period 64, cycle 1. And I think it appropriate this morning to just do a quick recap on Saturday's call. Although I wasn't able to get on it, we obviously maxed out the lines on Saturday, and a lot of people couldn't get on the call. However, I do believe the company sent out a document on the incentive that was announced Saturday, which is actually underway as we speak. It started at the beginning of the cycle, and of course, all new people that are sponsoring into the business and building throughout the month of July are going to be able to benefit greatly from the multiplier effect on first order bonuses. And so obviously coming out of the gates this Monday morning with some intensity is going to pay off, and for some people will pay off greatly. The first cycle, and again, I too am learning the full details of the promotion itself, but my understanding from a number of people I've spoken to, that this cycle 1, new business that is created by people who are in the sponsoring mode that started with Builder 2 that are on a 150 PV auto ship can get as much as 4 times the multiplier effect on their first order bonuses. So the environment for people to create $1,000 in income their first week in business, or more, or multiples of $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. The environment to do that, the incentive to do that, is in place. And so, I guess the question becomes, how does one take maximum advantage of a program like this, given that we are at the very beginning? And the answer is pretty simple, and I think we all know the answer. The answer is to immediately, upon hanging up the phone this morning at 9:30 Eastern Time, is to be on the phone with a, let's just call it a 7-day or 6-day blitz, or given I guess it's Monday, a 5-day blitz or a 5-day wind sprint all the way till this Friday at midnight. And then of course we can press the reset button, because the program continues into cycle 2, cycle 3, and so forth. But a blitz, what does a blitz look like? Pretty simple. I would sit down and make a short list of anywhere from 20 to 30 people. Make that short list so, that way we can have a targeted wind sprint. Okay, we're not just kind of picking up the phone and dialing out of our head, but we have a targeted wind sprint. We're going over all of our appointments, our calendars, our Microsoft Outlook, everything that we've done in the last 3 months, last 6 months, even the last year, and handpick, cherry pick all the people that we have approached that did go through a process, but maybe weren't quite ready, were sitting on the fence, weren't sure what they should do, timing, whatever the objection was or the block was at the time. Certainly that could have changed, and certainly with the new incentive and the promotion that we have, which was launched this Saturday, that could be the tipping point pretty well every single person, certainly when we show them the numbers and what they can do in a matter of 24 to 48 hours of getting started. And So make that short list. Be sure that all your team members have made that short list. Add to that short list during the week as names pop into our heads, as we recall people that we had forgotten about. Add to that short list. Add to it this week, add to it next week, add to it the following week. And on a daily basis, let's get as many presentations under our belt as possible, as many three-way calls under our belt as possible, as many PBRs, as many private conference calls, and so forth. We have a number of calls, obviously, this week. We have the MIT call tonight. We have the Zija Corporate Power Hour call tomorrow. We have the Russ Bianchi call on Wednesday. So these three phone calls, starting tonight, are perfectly positioned and timed for us to really spin up our own personal momentum. You know, tonight's call could have 300 to 500 people. We work with all the guests tonight, and we build momentum for tomorrow night's call. Tomorrow night's call, let's say we have 4,000 people on tomorrow night's call. We had, the number was in the thousands this Saturday, launching this promotion. So we have a number of people that are on the call tomorrow night, and then that call will funnel right into our product call on Wednesday with Uncle Russ. So these three phone calls, along with all the work that we do during the day, as well as, of course, three-way calls immediately following these calls, I can pretty well guarantee that anybody that laser focused on inviting guests and effectively following up with those guests at the end of each of these calls, I would say there's a 100% certainty that by the end of this week, by Friday, new people will be in the computer. New people will have, in many cases, duplicated. Those that have not duplicated will already have people in the funnel who will join next week, the following cycle, cycle 2, and so forth. And the amount of momentum, the amount of new blood that'll be built in the month of July will be quite spectacular. It'll really be intense. It'll be bigger than anything else that we've created, probably in 2013. I would imagine that this could be our single biggest period in 2013. And so, the focus must be, taking advantage of that, making sure that each of us have a little piece of that. Each of us are responsible for a little bit of that momentum. Now, the momentum that's created from this is not really done by a single individual, but it is done by, obviously, the collective efforts of each of us as individuals, where that effect is compounding by not hundreds, but say thousands and thousands of people. So we get a couple of thousand people who sponsor a couple of people who help those new people duplicate, and all of a sudden we've added 3,000 to 5,000 people to the organization in a 5-day period. And yes, that is going to raise the bar. That's going to set a new benchmark, a new record. That'll set us up for period 64 to be a 15 to 20,000 people month. Our average month is somewhere between 8,000 to 10,000 people. 15 to 20,000 people is significant. There's no question. There'll be a lot of new ranks breaking. There'll be a lot of pretty significant checks for people just getting started. There'll be a lot of new blood. There'll be a lot of new excitement. There'll be a lot of of new leaders that have joined us that will be in their first stage of development. And so I believe that, just this morning's call, we could say, is the launch call for the week. The company made the announcement this weekend. I know that many of the leaders that I spoke with yesterday and on Saturday had already set in place a number of team calls, a number of training calls to make sure that the information has got all the way to the end of the garden. As Ken Brailsford says, the water has reached the end of the garden. And so what that requires is that everybody who has a team, be sure that if your team did not get on the call on Saturday, that we have informed them, not just by text, not just by email, but a team call is probably maybe one of the most effective ways to ensure that everybody's got the required information. Make sure that we've posted that promotion appropriately, and then make sure that the follow-up and the promotion of that is done diligently on a daily basis. So we're not just saying one time, but over the next several days, we got to be on people so that they don't leave it to the last minute. They don't leave it till Thursday. They don't leave it till Friday afternoon to see if they can find somebody to put into the computer. They do it right now, right at the beginning, this Monday morning, right after this call, and build on it with MIT, build on it with Power Hour, build on it with the Russ Bianchi call, as well as, of course, all other presentations, team calls, webinars, conference calls, local events, and or Gold Rush events. All these things should be in place throughout July. Now, there's a process for this. This is not just about the month of July. It's not just about period 64. This is about going into the month of August with a new wave, a new freshman class of new recruits, of new sponsees. It's about pushing in from August into September with a second wave, and all of that ultimately funnels directly into Salt Lake City, into Utah, for our Leadership Summit, our convention this year in Utah. And so, obviously, the ultimate focus, the ultimate goal is to have the maximum number of people attend convention this year. On that note, anybody that has not booked, I'll repeat as I did last week, there is no better time to be booking. From a single standpoint of having a good location from a hotel standpoint, make no mistake about it. There'll be no question about it. Hotel space will run out. It probably has in a number of hotels already that are local to the event. Everybody should do their very best to be at a location that is close to the event itself. There's only one way to do that. That's to get your booking done now. Don't wait. Every day that we wait, chances are we're going to be at a motel or a hotel that's going to require transportation to get to and from the convention. And it's always nice if we can step out of our hotel, walk across the street, and be right at the event itself. And so there are a number of hotels that are obviously close to the convention. Those hotels, every single floor, every single room, and pretty well every single hotel will be Zija distributors and only Zija distributors. We will own Salt Lake City for that weekend coming up in October. So be sure to get that done. Do it now. Ensure that your team has done it. Worry about obviously getting your plane ticket booked and the rest of it. We still have a little bit of time for that, but certainly get your room blocked off. And so everything that we're doing right now, if we're talking about the rhythm of the business, is is about building towards convention, and so we are in the pre-promotion of convention, right? We're in the pre-promotion of convention. Company announced this incentive, this program, to assist us in the pre-promotion of convention. And so in the pre-promotion, what are we doing? We are simply building that momentum by employing the main thing being sponsoring new people. So we load the funnel, we take advantage of all the tools, we maximize our presentations, we do it today, we do it tomorrow, we do it Wednesday, so we prime the pump, and we do, of course, the appropriate follow-up, and we continue to prime the pump going into the following week. We do this for the next 4 weeks, and the momentum that is generated is spectacular. It funnels right into August. I'm sure the company will tune up anything else that we've done thus far to advance things. So in August we advance things, we take things to another level, and then September hits, and we are on the last stretch to convention. And he or she that's operating right now in the month of July in period 64, going into 65 and 66, and then finally 67, will end up with the maximum momentum going into convention. This year, convention promises probably the largest number of new leaders to walk across stage at the diamond or above level. There's no question. The number of diamonds, doubles, triples, black diamonds, and yes, new diamond elites will be bigger than any other single year that we've had in Zija, of new people, brand new people that have reached high levels. And that will include people from Asia, a few people from Europe that will be here. I have a gentleman out in Sweden that has been, Sweden, Romania, Hungary, that has put in place a number of new people, and he'll be flying in, as well as many others from other countries that have been laying a lot of foundation, and that includes South America. So it is going to be an international event. Our biggest event, estimations are somewhere upwards of somewhere between 4 to as much as 5,000 people. 6,000 is not inconceivable. That's almost 3 times bigger than last year, not quite, but almost. And that, of course, tells the story of what has happened in 2013. And so I think all of this is going to depend on what we do today and what we've done over the weekend. And so everybody should be running with all we've got. Now think of it, one of the ways to get psychologically prepared for a wind sprint like this is not to be thinking about the next 3 months. And not to be, we can have that as a long-range goal and understanding the rhythm of building and promoting and so forth leading into convention. And then, of course, there's post-convention. So the end of October going into November, December, we won't worry about that. The thing to do is to focus on the next 5 days. That's it. If we focus on the next 5 days on, my goal is to prime the pump to the maximum, get as many people into the funnel as possible, so that on Friday I have as many people joining as possible, or even sooner. Some people have people joining today, right after this call, before lunchtime. That's great too. But to have as many people as possible in the game, in the funnel, in process, then I will have set myself up to go into second gear next week, third gear the following week, and by the end of period 64, I will be in fourth gear, moving into overdrive. idea is to get myself into overdrive in the next couple of weeks, to press the reset button, restart my business, and put myself into an entirely different mode of building. That's the idea. And so use this call as the launch point, use tonight to help advance that, use Tuesday to further advance that, use Wednesday to anchor that, and continue the process. So I think we've hit this home pretty good. Make sure that all information flows down to all your team members. Make sure there's no confusion. Everybody understands what they need to do, how they need to do it, and then let's get on advancing it. Now, I don't know if there's anybody on the moderator line this morning. Any other announcements or anybody like to weigh in on this particular focus or topic? If there's anybody on the moderator line, anybody out there? We did change the moderator code, so I guess it makes it difficult for someone to jump on. Anybody out there?
Hey, David.
Go ahead, Willie.
You know what? I'm so excited. I mean, I was a part of 3 calls on Saturday explaining to the team, and another one yesterday. We'll have a team call tonight. We had a scheduled video conference this morning with had 8 key leaders in Germany. Everybody needs to be on board, and pretty much I felt like I was pretty consumed with Zija, even though I'm running a full-time business. But I pretty much have decided to take vacation this week, not to relax, but to put everything into Zija. I think there's so much to gain and a whole lot to lose if people don't take advantage. I mean, if you do the math and you bring a new person in at $13.20 and they duplicate that one time, you're putting $1,850 or more back into their pocket. If you can show a business person, if you can show somebody that they can recoup and actually be profitable in the first week, I think that's huge. And the one thing I like is, as distributors, sometimes we have a hard time closing the deal, but there is a deadline to this. And it's not a problem to share with that prospect. Friday is the deadline. You miss opportunity if you don't make a decision. Maybe decisions will be made a lot easier as you prospect people. Thanks for what you do, David.
Well, thank you, Willie. Well put. I mean, getting $1,000, $1,500 into a person's pocket for such a small amount of activity, it just doesn't get any better. It just simply does not get any better. We're not going to do that at our jobs. That's for sure. So it really is, it's got a lot of horsepower. And by the way, Willie, congratulations. I understand you got a lot of new stuff going on. There's a bright light at the end of the tunnel there, so congratulations. Anybody else want to weigh in or add anything before we wrap up this call? All right. I think we've covered everything, and ladies and gentlemen, I wish everybody a very, very successful week and a great cycle 1. Congratulations to all. Thank you for all that you do for this organization and your teams. And here, if you need me, we'll catch you tonight on the MIT call. I'll be conducting the call tonight, and yes, it will be a business opportunity focused with vision. So it'll be a leadership call, but it'll be good for guests. So by all means, do invite your guests. They will capture the vision tonight. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Lines are open.
Great call.